Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show, Wednesday, May 12th. It's Ian Cameron and Conor Mack. We're here ready to break down this Wednesday MLB slate. We've got a couple of day games today. We usually have that on Wednesday. One is about to start, so we'll get right to it. It's the Cubs and the Cleveland Indians, just about to throw the first pitch there in Cleveland. We're looking at a matchup between Hentges, the lefty for Cleveland, and you've got our good old friend, Zach Davies, Mr. Fade City for me, whenever I see his name out there. We've got the, right now in this one, Cleveland right now, minus 135, home favorites in this game. The total currently 8.5 across the board. I do have a bet over the total in this game. I don't trust either of these two guys. Hentges has an ERA over 5, a lefty, which is usually a worse matchup against the Chicago Cubs. And on the flip side, I'm not anything but fading Zach Davies at this stage. Don't trust him one bit. Don't be fooled by his last start where he actually pitched a little bit better, but he wiggled his way out of trouble consistently. I certainly don't think we've seen a true sign of an improvement from him. He just managed to minimize the damage because he got, very, very fortunate and managed to slip his way out of a couple of, runners on base, bases loaded situations in his last start against the Reds. I think he's going to be in some trouble here. So total at 8.5. I like the over. Conor, did you get involved there, Cubs and Indians?
I didn't. I stayed away. But if I were to bet it, I was going to take the over. I think they can get there. As we all know, Zach Davies sucks. He's just horrible. He's horrible for me, especially when I bet it. Maybe it's a little personal too. He just hasn't been good this year. But the Cubs hit lefties against the Indians. So I almost thought about taking them here at a plus price. They've been hitting better. And shout out to Chris Bryant. He's kind of changed his swing. He's hitting higher fastballs that always blew him by. He's having a good start to the year. We'll see if he gets traded or not. But I just want to say he's been playing a lot better lately. But I agree. I think it's over. I think we see some runs here. I just don't like either side. I don't want to lay minus 130 with the Indians. So I passed all the way around.
And by the way, the home plate umpire, 9.3 runs per game when he's been behind home plate, Lance Barksdale, calling balls and strikes. So we've got some umpire data.
He's a higher, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely good to know. San Diego, Colorado, Darvish and Gray on the mound here. In this one, we've got San Diego minus 150, road favorites, total 6.5, 7 across the board. Be careful here. We have no confirmed lineups yet. And for San Diego, that's important because they've got a bunch of guys going through stuff. I mean, the Rockies lineup has been out for like an hour, and we're still waiting for Padres lineup confirmation because Tatis is a question mark, Will Myers is a question mark, Eric Hosmer is a question mark. Be careful. San Diego's definitely going to have a weaker lineup today. They've got players dealing with COVID, players dealing with injuries, so keep an eye on that. Both pitchers in good form. Could you look? It's Coors Field, daytime. I get it, but can you maybe get away with a first 5 under? Possibly in this game? It's certainly the way I would lean here. What do you think, Conor? Padres, Rockies.
I'm just going to stay away. I'm the ultimate doubleheaders. You know me. I want nothing to do with them. It could. Gomber hasn't looked well all year. And Ian Snell's been pretty good, but I haven't wanted to back him either, even at this high price. So it was a pass for me.
Yeah, definitely. Darvish and Gray pitched pretty well. You don't know what the lineup's going to be. Maxwell.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Smart,
yeah,
yes,
they're the first game. Sorry, I was going second game.
Oh, you're looking at the second one. Yeah,
I was looking at Snell, Gomber.
I was going to say, I thought I heard Snell. Yeah, you're talking about the second game.
Sorry. All right. Either games. You know me. I hate doubleheaders, and I don't have a real feel for these games. Got canceled. I'd take Gray a little bit. The Rockies have disappointed me a lot, trying to take them first 5 unders, even with Gray, even though he's been one of the better pitchers. But I do player prop Will Myers. He's hit Gray. He's got 3 jacks off him. Maybe total bases and home run prop with Will Myers. It's kind of got to Gray.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. You know what? Rather than wheel back around and do San Diego, Colorado in order of start time, let's do San Diego, Colorado game 2 now. Snell and Gomber. You were thinking Snell, right?
Yep.
in that one. Okay. I'm not involved in the game two. I think even after, sometimes I'll wait till game one ends and then I'll get involved in game two. I'm probably not going to get involved in game two today. I just don't like the Padres aren't going to have a full lineup today. They're not going to have a fully healthy lineup. And that's probably just, no need to get involved, no need to push something. I'm probably going to stay off both of those games with the Padres and the Rockies. All right, let's move on now to tonight's action. Philadelphia, Washington, Zach Wheeler and John Lester. The pitching matchup here. We've got the Phillies and Wheeler, minus 130, road favorites, total 8.5, shaded to the under here. I don't know what to say about these two lineups after what I witnessed last night. I mean, that's Chase Anderson and Eric Fetty made to look like Cy Young winners all night long. I don't know what on earth the Washington Nationals were doing at the plate last night. And usually the Phillies bullpen is good to give up a few runs. Last night they weren't. Very, very, very frustrating. Like I said, all the numbers pointed to runs in that game. You can tell I'm frustrated. And all of a sudden it falls just short, 6-2. It lands on 8. Can't even get it to 9 to get a push on that. But nevertheless, with those two lineups and what I saw last night, I'm not exactly rushing to expect them to light it up tonight with, at least I think on paper, two a little bit more trustworthy pitchers. I like the way Wheeler's pitched. Lester has actually been not bad so far this season for the Washington Nationals, 2.7 ERA. He's kept his team in games. And the one thing about Lester is, he's still been around the block, and his experience means that, he can somehow craft his way and with all his craftiness and his guile and still manage to pitch relatively decently. And again, with these two lineups, they're sketchy as shit right now. It's hard to trust them. So I'm just staying completely away from this game. Connor, what do you think? Are you involved here, Philly, with Washington?
I don't think I'm going to get involved. With these lineups, how bad they're playing and Wheeler, I can't trust Lester. He's pitched pretty good since coming back. But I can't trust him. I want to take the first 5 under 4.5. I just don't know what I'm getting out of Lester. That's my only lean in this one. Yesterday was crazy. I mean, all those guys left on base, the bases loaded, no outs, multiple. I mean, that was just insane. I mean, I got the over 4.5 team total, but yeah, for the full game over, it didn't get there. So I'd be hesitant on pulling the trigger on taking the over again here today in this one.
Next up, we've got the Oakland Athletics and the Boston Red Sox. We've got Eduardo Rodriguez, the lefty, on the mound for the Red Sox, and it's James Caprillion for the Oakland Athletics here in this one, called up from AAA for this game. And to start, we've got Boston minus 150, the total 9.5, shaded to the under. Caprillion, like I just said, called up from AAA, but he's 27 years old. So you talk about a guy that's been around the block a little bit. Basically it's a necessity move for Bob Melvin and the Athletics. It's just a situation where they've got Mike Fiers now on the injured list, and Jesus Luzardo, the lefty, was put on the injured list as well. And they just need arms in that to fill out that starting rotation. So it pretty much tells you this is a fringe arm. It's not exactly a guy that's a ton of upside. And like I said, the fact that he is 27 years old, and really we're just seeing him now with this Oakland team and in the big leagues for really one of the few times. I mean, you look at his pitching stats, he just really hasn't had any experience at the big league level. He's played AAA, AA, A ball. He has not been, really in the big leagues until this season. He has pitched out of relief for the Athletics this year, 3.2 innings, 3 runs allowed, 4 hits in those 3.2 innings. If you extrapolate the 3.2 innings to an ERA, it's 7.36 and a 1.64 whip. So this is not exactly a guy we project to have a great deal of success today or have a great deal of upside long term. On the flip side, you've got Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for the Red Sox. It's been fairly decent this season. They've been winning for him at least 5-0, 3.82 ERA, 1.18 whip for Erod coming into this game. He had a really nice start last time against Baltimore, 1 run allowed in 5 innings of work. Hasn't gone deep into these last 2 games, but Boston's been winning for him consistently. I think a Boston first 5 and a full game split would be where I would lean in this game. Can't say I'm in love with the price. You probably have to go half a run with Boston in the first 5, minus a half run around even money. But that would be the lean here, would be a Red Sox first 5 full game split. I just don't know. I just don't think I have enough confidence or anything that I see out of Caprillion that makes me really rushing to support him in any way. Connor, what do you think here? A's and Red Sox.
Yeah, real quick, I wanted to give there's a bunch of Phillies that have hit Lester, not too great, but Real Muto has and Segura, and they've got some home runs off them. I forgot to mention that. And
Yep.
there's a few like Zimmerman who've hit Wheeler. Check them out if you want total bases on that game. Yeah, Caprillo, who knows what you're going to get with him today. He started here in Vegas last week. I saw his start. He almost went 5 innings, a couple runs. I don't think he's very good. I lean towards the over 9.5, the full game. I've had trouble with some of these 9.5s, I think it might get there today. And Rodriguez, he's pitched well, but I think he could be touched. And the A's hit lefties pretty good. I don't know if I have the gumption here. I kind of want to take the A's team total over 4.5, but it's just a lean right here. That's all I have in this ball game. Other than that, I'm staying away.
Yeah, yep. There's nothing wrong with giving it the old pass, and no question about that. That's one of those games here. Kansas City and Detroit. We've got Danny Duffy and Casey Mize, your pitchers here in this one. We've got Kansas City minus 140, road favorites, total 8 across the board here. What a crazy game last night. Looks like the Royals are dead and down and out early. And then all of a sudden, here come the Royals rallying for a monster comeback on that pretty bad Detroit bullpen. But then the Tigers survive and escape, walking it off late to survive and get the victory. But crazy attempt at a comeback in that game by the Kansas City Royals. And now they've got Danny Duffy on the mound, and all Danny Duffy does is keep on, getting the job done. I mean, very impressive, 1.26 ERA on the season for Duffy. Very impressive numbers, to be sure. Can he keep it going here against this Detroit Tigers team? There are a couple sticks that have hit him pretty well. In fact, 3: Candelario, Robbie Grossman, and Jonathan Scope. So be aware of that. He's done actually pretty good against Miguel Cabrera, but those 3 guys have had some success, but still, his current form has been terrific. Casey Mize, on the other hand, it's been, I'll be honest, a little bit disappointing, underwhelming from him, although he got it back together a little bit in his last start. 4.41 ERA for him overall this season. There are some Royals hitters that, again, minimal at bats, but Perez, Merrifield, Jorge Soler, Andrew Benintendi all have hits in minimal at bats against Mize. So it's one of those situations. I like Mize a lot, but Duffy's rolling right now. Could you maybe get a first 5 under? Possibly. Remember, a high-scoring game yesterday. Sometimes you like to look toward the reverse happening the very next day. So another game, I don't know if I'll be involved, but I do lean a little to the first 5 under, because you do have Mize is still a pretty good arm in my mind. I think he can get his shit together. And look, Duffy's been nothing but terrific so far. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, Mize pitched a few good games, but he had nothing to show for it. So his record, I think, could be more 3-3 than 1-3. So yeah, I'm leaning the first 5 under 4 as well. I think Duffy's got to be the guy to help stop the bleeding. The Royals kind of come back yesterday to tie it up, and then they lose, and they are losing. So until they win, I tried it yesterday. Today might be the day. I don't want to lay minus 140. If you were taking this game, maybe go KC team total or run line. If you want to go at it, I wouldn't lay minus 140. If they win, they need a big win, and they need to get to Mize. So, but other than that, yeah, just the first 5 under 4 in this one is all I'm on.
Yeah, for me, and the Royals are a disappointment right now. This is shocking that they're on this terrible 9-game skid. And there's no way I'm laying with minus 140 on the road. I know Duffy's been great, but there's no way I can get to that price. Minus 140 with a team that's just on the kind of losing streak the Royals are on right now. So that's why it's a tough one for me overall. I think this could be the day they finally win, but I'm not involved at that price. Not even maybe. Yankees and Tampa Bay next game. Yeah, definitely. Yankees and Tampa Bay. Cole and Colin McHugh, a spot start again for the Rays here. Yankees minus 190, road favorites, total 7. We missed the mark with the Rays. A lot of us liked Tampa yesterday. Look, you got to give Montgomery credit. He pitched pretty well, and the bullpen brought it home after that. We'll have to wait and see when it comes to this one. Um, Obviously, the Yankees have fared poorly against the Rays, but it was a big win for them yesterday. They still remember, I think, getting swept at Yankee Stadium earlier this season. Maybe they're thinking, you know what, we won yesterday. We've got our beast of an ace pitcher on the mound. Let's try to return the favor. Let's see if we can sweep these guys here in Tropicana Field. And I keep thinking to myself, geez, the Yankees, when they get a win, geez, maybe they can get on a roll because we know this team has an 8, 9-game, 10-game winning streak. They're capable of it. They're capable of reeling off one of those win streaks. Can they start it here? And certainly are capable of hitting Colin McHugh. We've seen a few of these Yankees hitters have success. Torres, Sanchez, LeMahieu have hit against McHugh in the past. A lot of Rays have been okay. I guess a couple of them have been good against Cole. Diaz and Wendell, pretty much the only two guys that have had success. 6 for 15, Yandy Diaz, Joey Wendell. 4 for 13 against Garrett Cole. So this is more of a game I look at player props. I might sprinkle on the two Rays that have had a pretty good success over a decent enough sample size, 13 and 15 at bats for Diaz and Wendell, hitting 300 or better against Cole. This is more of a player prop game for me. I'm not going to be betting the side or total. What do you think here, C-Mac? Rays hosting the Yankees.
Yeah, puzzler, Duffy, third best first 5 ERA. Good stat there. Yeah, dude, the Rays, I know we were on them yesterday. They played Cole tough this year. I think he had a no decision. It was like 2-2. He got knocked out. They ended up winning the game, something like 3-2 in extra innings. So it's difficult. Man, they swing and miss a lot. And to watch it again live, I haven't watched them in like a week. The good, 5 innings of their game. I mean, it made Montgomery look unreal in like 9
You can almost
Ks.
make strikeout over props, Connor, against any pitcher against the Rays right now.
Yeah, they swing and miss like you can't believe. And I think it's more in this game. It's tough with the player props because I'm not a side or total either. I mean, if I were to bet anything, it'd be the Rays, but I just kind of love it. And I think the Yankees remember the sweep, like you said, from earlier in the year. But these guys swing and miss, but they hit homers. And that's kind of what they've done with Cole. Not great averages here, but they all got a homer, Diaz does, Meadows. And that's kind of how they stay in some of these games. They'll keep it 2-2 or get in the extras and win it. The Yankees, not too much success off the cue, but we'll see. I'm staying away all the way around, and I don't even know if I'll do any player props here today on this one either.
All right, next game on the slate, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays, Atlanta Braves, Hyunjin Ryu, and Max Fried, a battle of lefties. And now that it looks like Max Fried looks right and back on track again, this could be a great pitching matchup here. We've got Atlanta minus 110 to minus 115, slight home favorites, total 7.5 across the board. Blue Jays take the first game, rally off the Atlanta bullpen last night to get the win. Another bad bullpen display. What else is new? We've seen a bunch of them this season. Atlanta can't hold the lead. The Blue Jays come back to beat the Braves last night. They've got Ryu on the mound. Look, I like Ryu. Ryu's good. Ryu's had a solid start to the season, 3.31 ERA. Last start was probably a little bit rougher than normal for him, but it wasn't brutal. And look, it's a good matchup. We know. We said it with Robbie Ray yesterday. And other than Acuna hitting a home run off him, and there was another solo shot he gave up, but other than that, they struggled a little bit against Ray yesterday, and Atlanta's terrible against lefties this season. Second worst batting average in Major League Baseball against lefty pitching right now for this Atlanta team. So it's probably a tricky matchup for them against Ryu. On the flip side, you've got Max Fried, and look, whatever Max Fried was before the injury, I don't think that's the Max Fried right now. That looked like last year, 2020, Max Fried in his first start after the injury. He was dominant. Yet I think 45 of his pitches were for strikes, which tells you he was hitting the zone. He had 6 strikeouts in 5 innings, allowed just 1 run against the Nationals in that game. He looked like Max Fried from last year, and he looked healthy. He looked strong. He was commanding his pitches, things he was not doing before that injury. So I'm going to think he's going to go out there and pitch well today here for the Braves. So I like first 5 under here in this game. Atlanta can't hit lefties. Ryu's pretty good lefty. Max Fried looks like he's back on the beam. I could see this being a low-scoring start to this game. Probably like the first 5 under. And, certainly with Atlanta's bullpen, it'd probably be nice to keep them out of the mix if you like the under. So first 5 under looks like the better target. And from a side perspective, I would only look to the Blue Jays here. They've owned Atlanta. Atlanta hasn't beaten them this year. Toronto's like 4-0 against Atlanta. I would lean to the first 5 full game split once again, just like I had last night with Toronto. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yep, you nailed it. Right when I was on the first 5 under 4 here. Yeah, Fried looked like the old Fried his last start. If he can continue that, they'll be good. That bullpen's bad. Yeah, yesterday. And they got to score more. And they continued to show it yesterday. They can't hit lefties. And Ryu's done well against them. So that's why I like the first 5 under 4 even more. Freeman's only one who's 6 for 18. Pretty good average, 333. But other than that, nobody's really hit him. I'd lean to the Blue Jays too. The number's short. I'm going to stay off the sides and just stick with the first 5 under 4 here.
All right, under 4 for Conor Mack. We both like that one. All right, St. Louis, Minnesota, or St. Louis, Milwaukee, I should say. Next up, we've got Milwaukee minus 175, home favorites. Total 7.5, shaded to the under here in this one. Certainly, this could be a first 5 under candidate with these two arms. Look, John Gant, I'll give him credit, 2.15 ERA. I'm kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop on him. It has not happened yet. He's pitched well for the most part this season for the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll see if he can keep it going, a strong start to the season. You look at the past numbers for Brewers hitters against Gant. You've got good numbers from Travis Shaw, 5 for 12, 417 average and a home run. Jackie Bradley as well. Kane, not bad as well, and not much after that. So can Gant go out there and get the job done? We'll see. Milwaukee's not exactly crushing the baseball right now. That's putting it mildly. We saw them shut down last night in the game by Kwang Hyun Kim, the lefty of the Cardinals. But on the flip side, you got obviously Brandon Woodruff, and anybody that's been watching this show from the beginning knows that I have been on Woodruff every game from a first 5 and full game standpoint. I think every game, honestly. If I go back and look at my betting records and betting history this year in MLB, I think I've been on Woodruff first 5 and full game in all the starts. And even with Gant pitching well, I still think Woodruff's the better arm of these two pitchers. There's no question. He's held the Cardinals to 187 collective team batting average for St. Louis against Woodruff in the past. I like Milwaukee first 5 laying the half a run in this game. A little bit more on that than the full game. And I also like the first 5 under. I think that could get there as well. What do you think here, C-Mac, with the Cardinals and Brewers?
I've been right with you, like you said, with the Woodruff bets. Brewers first 5, half a run for me, and all his first 5 unders. And I'm not going to stop. And I've been surprised. You might be – Gant is probably going to get touched here pretty soon. He'll get hit a little bit, but he's pitched really well. And I've been a bit surprised how well he's done. I got to stick to the first 5 under 4. It's not a 3.5. You get it minus 115. I think it's solid value there. And I got to take the half run with the Brewers. The Brewers can't hit. Man, it showed yesterday. I mean, both teams couldn't there till the Goldschmidt broke out, hit the 2-run bomb. Then O'Neill hit a homer. But, man, both teams struggle. So hopefully the Brewers can get a couple early for them. But Woodruff's kind of dominated these Cardinals. I mean, all these guys got a few hits off them, Molina, Goldschmidt. But one guy I need, Brewers, I was probably going to take total bases. Travis Shaw, he's 5 for 12 with a homer off Gant. Maybe look at him for a home run proper or total bases, at least get over a half. So,
yeah, and as David Sharp says, and if you're right, if you look up Fangraphs, and Fangraphs is one of the multiple sites I use daily, and I always take a look at those advanced numbers, XFIP, FIP, and you're right. I see a 2-run higher FIP than the ERA is, that's a sign that he's pitching well. But there's a lot of baseball fortune, a lot of baseball roulette getting played with John Gant right now, and that roulette wheel, sometimes the pendulum swings in the other direction, and that could be on the way for Gant. So he's been great. If he pitches well tonight, I wouldn't be surprised. If he gives up some runs finally and gets hit a little bit, I wouldn't be surprised either because of that.
Me too.
Ugly looking at FIP, which is again over 2 runs higher than your ERA. That's always a red flag for me. Next up,
he needs to not walk guys real quick. He got away with it against the Mets. That could be his big thing today. He walks 2 or 3, boom, 3-run jack or something. You're down 3-0. Yeah.
No doubt. Control and command has gotten steadily worse in the last start or two for Gantz, so keep an eye on that. Minnesota, Chicago White Sox, another lefties battle here. Happ and Keuchel, a pitching matchup here. In this one, the White Sox minus 135, home favorites, total 8 shaded to the under. You've got a red-hot team versus an ice-cold team. I'm not rushing to back the ice-cold team, that being the Minnesota Twins. However, Happ has been good. But I said this about Maeda yesterday, thinking, hey, Maeda's been a little bit better. I trust him more than Cease, and the Twins still don't win. So they're just finding ways to lose right now. It's tough to bet teams when they're in this kind of funk. But if they've got the right guy right now, Happ, 1.91 ERA, you would think. But the problem is, we know what the White Sox do against lefties. They mash them. They crush them. They've done it time and time and time and time again. And look, it bothers me that Happ's in great form right now. But boy, how do I not bet White Sox team total over? I have already. I have. I've been on it every single time they've been up against a lefty. I know Happ is in outstanding form this season. He's been arguably the best, most consistent pitcher for the Twins this year. He's been better than Maeda. It's been better than anybody else they've had in this rotation. But the White Sox just mash lefties. And it doesn't matter if it's a premium lefty. It doesn't matter if it's a mediocre lefty. And it doesn't matter if it's a bad lefty. All they do is hit lefties. They're averaging over 7 runs per game against left-handed pitching. And I'm right back to that team total over on the White Sox tonight. And if you actually look at the numbers for the White Sox against Happ in the past, Anderson 9 for 16, 562 average, and 2 home runs. He has blistered J.A. Happ in the past. Lurie Garcia, 4 for 12, 333 average against Happ. Abreu, 5 for 16, 312 average against Happ. So you have 3 key bats in this White Sox lineup that have hit him. So he's in great form. I'm going to bet that he's not in so great form tonight. White Sox team total over. Absolutely have to do it anytime they're up against a lefty because the track record's been that dominant for them in this kind of spot. Conor, what do you think here? Twins, White Sox.
Yeah, I like Happ, but I just got to stick to my guns too. I mean, I've been with you the same way. I didn't stop last year. I haven't stopped now. I just stay in the course with the White Sox and the lefties. They just hit them. And right now you can get over 3.5 really high, juice like minus 135, or I'm sure you can find it at 4.5 and you'll get plus money, probably plus 115 or something like that. And they've hit him a little bit. They've had success. Player probably maybe look at Anderson, 9 for 16 with a couple homers. He's a guy I've already zeroed in on. They've hit him pretty solid. So I'm on the White Sox team total. I kind of want to take the run line. I don't know if I'm going to go that big. That plus 150 looks good. And the Twins they're not playing good baseball right now. Who knows? I think they'll play better as the year goes on, but I don't want them right now. Maybe not. It may be a week they'll start rolling, get a stretch, but White Sox again against the lefty here.
Yeah, I mean, it's wash, rinse, repeat, pretty much at this stage. And Eric Chang, you're absolutely right. I appreciate that. Saying that Ian always sounds right doesn't matter if he ends up right or not. I appreciate that. As long as we're giving you good logic, and you're right. It sure sounded right with that Nationals Phillies over when you're looking at the numbers for Fetty and Anderson, and sure enough, the game stays under. So that's the thing. It sounds right. It feels right. It looks right. It doesn't end up right at the end of the night sometimes. But thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that. That's what we're trying to do, give you good info anyway. You're not going to win every bet. There's no way, no how that's possible. But we at least hope we give you good information here and things that make sense logically that lead to these bets. And hey, what makes sense to me, White Sox team total over against a lefty, because all it does is keep on winning for me pretty much every time I've taken them against a lefty pitcher this season. All right, we'll move on to the next game here. It is the LA Angels and the Houston Astros. Andrew Heaney, Jose Urquidy on the mound in this matchup here. Houston currently around minus 124 to minus 120 to minus 125 home favorites, 8.5 the total. This is an over lean potentially for me here. I mean, you do have the Astros who hit lefties well. Andrew Heaney has been kind of an up and down yo-yo this season for the Angels. Had some decent outings, but has also had some really rough starts as well for this team. You look at the numbers for the Astros against him, Altuve in particular, 10 for 25, 400 average against him. Lots of success. You look at some of these others. Yordan Alvarez has hit him twice. Yuli Gurriel, 5 for 19 against him. So a couple of these Astros hitters have had success. There's a couple that have hit Urquidy, though, on the Angels side. David Fletcher is the guy that stands out. It's not Mike Trout, not Upton. It's actually David Fletcher, 5 for 7, 714 average against Jose Urquidy for the LA Angels. So I definitely think we're going to see some runs scored. Astros bullpen has been better lately, but the Angels bullpen is still absolute ass. It's still absolutely brutal. So I think if you don't get the runs early, you could get some late as well. Urquidy had a rough first couple innings against the Jays, and then he settled down in his last start. So I'll give him credit for that. But I'm going to have to see it again from him one more time here in this game against the LA Angels. And on the flip side, as far as the total is concerned, I think Houston probably will do more of the damage, and I think damage is what exactly they will do to Andrew Heaney as well as the bullpen, which is lousy behind him. So I do like over 8.5 here. Connor, what do you think? Angels, Astros.
Yeah, I wanted to give one more player prop for that last game. Nelson Cruz, he's like 16 for 45 or something with 5 home runs off Keuchel. Look at him for a home run prop today. I think he could hit a dinger or at least get over 1.5 total bases.
That's a good call.
I see runs in this one too. Yeah. I think, man, it's glaring. I was like going through the numbers. 5 homers, 16 for 49. I see runs too here. And both these guys have gotten hit a bit. And I can't trust both pins, especially the Angels. Altuve's a good one. You just went off 10 for 25. I've never trusted Heaney. He can look good at times, and then he always has a bad inning that really blows up, or the long ball really gets him. He's kind of cruising. He's got 8 Ks, 9 Ks, and he gives up a 3-run homer, walks a bunch of guys. And I think we get it. Astros hit lefties well. Urquidy's been nothing to show of, and the Angels hit righties. So I'm on the full game over 8.5. And I don't know if I want to double up, but looking at the Astros over 4.5 plus 110, 115, right around there. I'm kind of looking that way as well. Team total over 4.5.
All right, good stuff. Next up, we've got the Miami Marlins and the Arizona Diamondbacks. We have Nick Neidert for the Marlins in this one. Actually, it was going to be Nick Neidert. Now we're not so sure. That was initially the plan, but we got another one of these deals. So every day we got one of these where they changed the starter. Initial starter gets scratched. We got an unknown yet from Miami. Haven't announced a starter. Zach Gallen will be the starter for the Arizona Diamondbacks in this one. Arizona last check was minus 150 to minus 160. Home favorites, total 7.5 across the board. Now we'll just have to wait and see where Miami goes with their starting pitcher. But I can absolutely tell you right now, you know how I think of Zach Gallen. I think he is a bet-on pitcher. He's been solid all season so far for the Diamondbacks, 3.04 ERA, quality start in his last outing against the Mets, 2 runs and 6 innings of work, very solid. It's just been consistent, pretty reliable for Torey Lovello and the Diamondbacks all season long. He's given up 2 runs or less in 4 of his first 5 starts, 2 runs allowed to the Mets, shut out the Braves, 3 runs allowed to the Reds, 1 run allowed to Oakland. So he's just kept his team in games, given them a chance to win here. Certainly if it was going to be Nick Neidert for Miami, I'd be looking at an Arizona first 5 full game split because Neidert's 6.75 ERA, but they basically optioned him this morning down to the AAA team. So, that's exactly why he's not starting. And the reason is because he's just not been pitching well for the Marlins. So we'll see where the Marlins go. But I'll tell you right now, when it's Gallen on the mound, I either back him or I pass the game. So it's Arizona or pass for me. Connor, any thoughts here?
Yeah. So you have Rogers in then? Is that who you have in?
I don't know. They haven't decided yet. They might move Rogers up. Yeah. They go with a spot starter, bring someone out of the bullpen to make a start. There's a lot of different ways Mattingly could go, but nothing announced yet.
Yeah, that's what I see. I just see all my multiple things have him or nobody. Okay. I still lean with Gallen too. He's like the lone guy on that pitching staff that I like. And the D-backs have hit the ball. They've won the last 2. Marlins swept them last week. Maybe they step on their neck here and sweep them, the D-backs and the Marlins. And the Marlins just look, man, they just kind of look lost. I watched that game. I was trying to keep the first 5 under, and they gave up 3 runs, bases loaded with Peralta, and it just rolled on from there. If I were to bet it, it'd be the D-backs for the sweep here, or just stay away.
Yeah, exactly. Arizona or pass, I think, for me and for Conor as well in this one. Seattle Mariners and the LA Dodgers. We've got Julio Urias on the mound for the Dodgers, Justin Dunn for Seattle. The Dodgers minus 250, home favorites, total 8, shaded to the under. I remember the last time the Dodgers snapped a losing streak with a win, and they came back to win, and they had a big, actually didn't come back. It was a big blowout win against the Brewers, and I thought that this is going to get them going, watch them go on a run, and then they went right back into the tank again. Is last night the win that galvanizes them and gets them going on a run, because they looks like they were down down and out, looking like another loss, and then they rally in the latter innings from a 4-1 deficit to beat Seattle 6-4 last night. Disappointing. I went with the wrong half of the game for the best bet yesterday. I went with Seattle full game for the best bet. I did split the bet in half, first 5 and full game, but should have went first 5 instead with Seattle. But at least I got half of it. So he actually made profit on that game because it was a big plus price with Seattle first 5 and full game. So at least got out of there with some profit on the Seattle first 5 and full game split. I'm tempted to come right back with Seattle first 5 full game split. I'm not ready to just say everything's hunky-dory again for the LA Dodgers after just one win against Seattle last night. Let's see them actually string a couple of wins together. Let's see them do well. And Urias, was pitching pretty well this season until his last start, where he struggled a little bit. And Justin Dunn, I'm not saying I fully changed my tune with him, but he's definitely pitched better than I thought. Walks were an issue for him last season. He's reined those in a little bit. A 3.51 ERA for Justin Dunn coming into this start. What benefits him here is he's not had a ton of these Dodgers hitters face him a lot. Only minimal at bats. Mookie Betts is 2 for 2, but again, a very, very small sample size, not a home run, not a lot of long-term track record against him. So it's hard to make too much of a big deal when it's a good sample size, but it's only 2 for 2. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm going to need to be convinced with the Dodgers. So I don't know if I like it as much as I liked it with Kikuchi, because I think Kikuchi's better than Dunn, but at least a lean, maybe a small sprinkle to me on the same 2 bets as last night for me. Seattle at this price, first 5 and full game. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I don't blame you for doing it yesterday. And that was a solid look because the Dodger bullpen's bad. You just got the first 5 there. Kikuchi pitched well. They got runs early. But I would take that bet with that Dodger pen any day, the giving up runs late. So you almost could have won both. Nah, I can't lay it with Urias's massive price. This is the typical Dodger pitcher that they would rip in the past. A righty, he throws hard. They usually would pound him. I'm staying away. The values with the Mariners, I know Lux hit a home run. These are guys that haven't done nothing. Guys like Gavin Lux, who are supposed to be minor league players of the year, that are doing jack shit with the Dodgers. They're hitting 200. They look horrible. I mean, Will Smith, all these guys haven't hit at all. Muncy hit a homer yesterday. He's hit 226. They should turn it around, but it's a stay away. I think the values with the Mariners, maybe look at them another first 5 or full game. But I think the Dodgers get hot. I don't know if it's now. We'll see. I think they do down the line. Bellinger will lengthen that lineup. I really think they've been hurting lately. When you get to the 6 or 7 hole, they need him back. It deepens that lineup, and it makes him, totally way better, that lineup. So he needs to get back. So until then, I think they're just going to be okay. But we'll see tonight.
And funny you mentioned Gavin Lux, because you're right. He hadn't been hitting, and he gets the big 3-run bomb last night to give the Dodgers the lead 6-4. And can he get going now? Sometimes that's all you need. You need that one big hit to get you out of the doldrums. We'll see if that's the case last night. That big clutch hit too. I mean, they're down obviously in the game at the time, 4-3 in the 8th inning, 2 outs, I believe, as well. And I'm like, man, you got to be kidding me. As someone who was hoping to get the full game part of that Seattle bet as well, he hits that 3-run home run in the 8th inning last night, 6-4, and gives the Dodgers that win last night. But again, they're still going to have to prove it to me. They can put it together 2 in a row. Good stuff, Conor. Great analysis. We'll get to best bets for this Wednesday card in just a second. But before we do that, as we do each and every day on this show, at this time of the show, we pause for a message and from our great sponsors, Manscaped, here at Pub Sports Radio. it is, Manscaped. Check them out. Promo code PubSports, and also mybookie.ag, NHL, NBA, MLB daily. Of course, we've got UFC cards most weekends these days as well. Check them out. Mybookie.ag, Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Promo code PubSports at mybookie.ag. All right, it is best bet time for this Wednesday edition of the Closing Time Show. CMAC, what have you isolated here for your best bet?
Well, I like a bunch, and I'll answer. Yeah, Big Show. I'm gonna do a home run prop on him, but yeah, I mean, I'm definitely over 1.5 total bases. If you want to alt line, I don't know what tons of books have different ones. Yeah, go over 2.5. Or whatever you want. I don't know how you want to go, but definitely with Cruz. I mean, he's killed him, Keuchel this year. I like the Jays Braves first 5 under, but I like the Brewers Cardinals better. I'm going back to my bread and butter. Give me the first 5 under 4 here, -115. Brewers Cards.
Brewers Cards. We're going Gant and Woodruff under 4 between the Brewers and the Cardinals. That is the best bet for Conor Mack for this Wednesday MLB card. My best bet is going to be I'm just going to see here. I'm going to go with Old Reliable. And that's Chicago White Sox team total, over 4.5 plus 105. I didn't think I was going to use that for best bet. I knew I had bet it. It was on my card today. I didn't know if I was going to go with that for best bet, but I'm worried about Hap. Hap's form has been excellent. He's been almost lights out this year for the Twins. He's been terrific, but I can't get over the fact that the White Sox have hit him hard. Several of these hitters in this lineup, their offense is in good form anyway. We saw them do some damage against Maeda last night, and the fact remains they've just hit every lefty, period, pretty much, that they faced this season. So I'm not sure what changes here tonight, even with Hap in great form. Chicago White Sox team total over 4.5 plus 105. That is going to be my best bet for this Wednesday MLB card, and that'll wrap up this edition of the Pub Sports Radio MLB Closing Time Show. Thanks to everyone in the chat for tuning in. Most of you are here with us every day. We appreciate it, 7 days a week. Make sure you're back with us tomorrow for another MLB Closing Time Show, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. It'll be Conor Mack, me, and Jose Bouquet will be back as well as our special guest tomorrow. So join us for that. And we'll also be back later today, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, NBA Closing Time with Ski Profit later today, breaking down the NBA card. For Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll see you in a couple hours. NBA Closing Time right here on Pub Sports Radio.